Hi everyone, this is a short video to try to show you how you can stay safe from policing during the COVID-19 lockdown. It's going to help you understand how to stay safe, avoid trouble, and hold the police to account during the lockdown. We know there's been loads more powers and loads more problems, and so this is a short workshop brought to you by a number of different organisations that have been holding the police to account for racism, violence, and other forms of misuse of power for many years now. So let's get into it. So what's new? We know there's been loads of new police powers introduced during the lockdown. They've been checking people's shopping bags or using drones to check people when they're out walking. So what's important to know that a lot of people's experiences with the police might be the same as usual, but worse. There are more police powers, there's less accountability, and there are fewer witnesses around to see that. There will also be harsher penalties too. So not only are you more likely stopped and searched by police than you usually are, but you can be more harshly punished if they say that you are arguing with them, spitting or assaulting them or anything like that. So take that into consideration when you're engaging with the police or if they approach you in any kind of situation. Okay, so going out. When are we allowed to go out? So most of us know when we can leave the house, right? We're allowed to go out for exercise. We're allowed to go out to buy food or medicine. Or if we're providing care, food or medicine for somebody else. We're allowed to go to and from work. And of course you're allowed to leave the house if you're avoiding harm. And this is an important one. So if your home isn't safe for you and you're fleeing violence, illness or any other kind of harm at home, you're allowed to leave the house. You're also allowed to leave the house more often if you have special educational needs or if you need to go out for your mental or emotional health. This includes things like autism and other things like that as well. The law is quite vague on this, but it's important to know this, and it means that you can complain or have a fine rescinded and cancelled if the police do fine you or arrest you or anything like that, and these are one of your reasons. Other reasons for leaving the house are important too. Your parents might be separated. You might be going from one parent's house to another house. You might have to go to court for some reason. You might have to go to the job centre or take a child to school. Your home might be overcrowded or stressful and it might affect your emotional or mental health. All of these things are valid reasons, and although the police might not take it seriously at the time, it can mean that you can make a complaint afterwards and potentially not have to pay that fine or take a case against the police. So this is one important piece of advice. Make sure you're prepared. Before you leave the house, make sure you're clear in your mind of why it is that you're leaving the house. This way that if you're stopped and questioned by the police, you're able to be really clear with them as to why you've left the house and why trying to charge you with anything would be totally unlawful. One more important thing. Just because you're outside the house with a reasonable excuse to go out doesn't mean that you're always outside legally. This is a bit confusing, but let me try to explain. So if you went out first thing in the morning for a loaf of bread and some milk, but you were hanging out in the park by the late afternoon, the police can still arrest you and fine you for that, right? Because they'll say the reason you left the house isn't the reason you're out the house right now. Okay. So what's next? What if I get stopped and questioned by the police? Right? Why might they stop me and question me? They might do it because they see you hanging around rather than going somewhere. Right? They might see you with a group of people that they don't think is part of your household. They might see you out more than once on the same day. Or they might see you doing a leisure activity, in other words, having fun. So for instance, someone I know was flying a kite in a field, and he said that was his exercise, but the police said, oh no, that you're just having fun, that's a leisure activity. These reasons might not necessarily be legitimate, but they're things to be aware of, and they're reasons that the police are often giving. And we know that the police are often very common in finding excuses.
Police station. We were called here because of a call, youths breaking into the cross cutter over there. We found it secure. These youths were waiting in the alleyway. A number of them got builder's gloves on, which is quite unusual in my view, given the weather. It's warm and dry. They've got industrial builder's gloves on. We're not going to arrest them for going equipped, which we could do, and we're just filming them in the event they're involved in disorder later today. Is that okay?
So we know there are loads of reasons why the police might come and question us. And of course there are many of the reasons they can normally question us, right? So they might say they can smell cannabis, they might say that you fit a description, or they might just say you're acting suspiciously. The kind of stuff that most people are used to if they get stopped and questioned by police on a regular basis. Right, so what should I do if I'm stopped and questioned by the police? So importantly, you don't have to give your name and address if they ask for it, but we recommend that you do, because if you don't, very often they can get angry. They can say that's suspicious, right? They might harm you or arrest you or anything like that. And we don't want that to happen. So even though you don't need to do those things, to stay safe, we recommend that you do. Importantly, try if you can to video, photograph or record audio of what took place. Write down or voice note as much as possible. So afterwards you can make a voice note or write down the time, the location, the names of the officers, their vehicle registrations, a description of them, what they said, and then you can send it to us. We'll give you our contact details at the end of the workshop. But hopefully they'll be chill, because a lot of the time they really can be.
I've spoken to you before.
I've been stopped about 50,000 times, bro.
By any chance, are you into music?
Yeah.
Is it JME?
JME, yeah.
Are you JME?
Yeah.
I like your music, mate.
Thank you very much.
This ain't the reason why I'm putting
No, of course not.
Right, so we know that sometimes the police can be chill. So you might get lucky, you might get a nice officer. You never know. Right, so what if I'm searched by the police, right? Or they find me, or they tell me to go home. Like being questioned, try to take as much information as possible. Get the badge number, the vehicle registration. And again, if you can, video, photograph, record audio. If you're searched, make sure you get a receipt if you can. And if you're not able to record stuff there and then, which is often really difficult to do, as soon as you get home, write down or voice note every single thing you can remember. Again, if you're getting searched, the police should give you a valid reason, but come on, don't expect one. For those of us who have been stopped and searched before, we know that the police often don't give us valid excuses. Again, you don't have to give your name and address, but we recommend that you do, because it can get the police angry or suspicious and can make things worse. Again, get a receipt, and as always, record as much as you possibly can, either in the moment or afterwards. If the police tell you to go home, we suggest that you do as they say. Otherwise, they can arrest you or they can fine you £60. The police can't find under 18-year-olds, but they can get in contact with your parents or carers. So the fixed penalty notice. If they do fine you, you have to give your name and address. And if you don't pay within 2 weeks, it can double and keep going up. But you can challenge a fine if you feel that it was unfair. And we're going to give you the contact details of the organisations that you can go to help to challenge an unfair fine. Another thing that's important to remember, although we do want you to film if you can, it's not always easy and the police can give you a hard time.
Mate, stop videoing and move on.
Excuse me?
You're on the phone. Essential journeys only.
Yeah, I was going for a walk.
Leave the area, please.
Hey, I'm a journalist. I was going for a walk and I saw some police.
Unless you're exercising.
Yeah, and I am exercising. And I'm a journalist and I saw someone get in a conversation with the police.
Can you go over there?
You have to scream and shout on me. And I was exercising.
Carry on exercising.
I was, and then sorry, mate, I'm a journalist.
Yeah, it
You can see my press card. I was walking past and saw an incident, so I stopped for a second. I appreciate that, and I was exercising.
Listen,
Can you leave?
And I don't need to be surrounded by...
You're either exercising or you go indoors. So
I was
video me, look, Sergeant Gary Brown,
Yeah, yeah.
3058U, go home.
Can we just stay 2 meters
Go
away?
home.
I'm trying.
Go home.
Go home or you get fined.
Go home
Simple as that.
now.
You're going to find me?
Yes.
I'm asking, I don't understand. I was walking past, I'm a journalist, I saw an incident.
I don't care
I wanted
what
to
you
make
are.
sure it was okay.
Go home.
I was. Hey, you're all very close
You're
to me.
killing people.
I'm not.
Okay, so we can see the police can often get riled up when you video them. So do stay safe if that's something that you choose to do, because it's really important that we hold them to account when they do harass people. Okay, so what if the police arrest me? If you do end up getting arrested by the police, again, you don't have to give them your name and address, but we recommend that you do. Because again, if you don't, they can get more suspicious, more angry, and you can get into more harm. But it's really important to try not to answer any of their other questions. They might try to have what they call a friendly chat in the back of the van. Or they might try and put you in an interview room and ask you questions. You should always say no comment until you have a solicitor present. And this is the other important thing. Don't accept one of their solicitors, what they call a duty solicitor. You have to get a solicitor of your own choosing. It's really important that you do. We recommend police action lawyers, either Bindmans or Hodge, Jones and Allen. They're organisations that have been challenging the police for many, many years, and they will be on your side much better than a duty solicitor. If you say to the police officer, I want Bindmans, I want a Hodge, Jones Allen solicitor, they have to contact them for you. So make sure you try to remember one of these two names and write down the phone number in your phone and try to remember it as best you can. Right, so what if I'm abused by the police? A lot of us have to deal with racism, violence, or any other abuse at the hands of the police. So if that does happen to you after the incidents, try and contact one of these two organisations, Stopwatch or the Monitoring Group. They're both national organisations, and you can give them the information. They can help you make complaints, put you in contact with police action lawyers, and any other kind of support that you might need. So that's some information about how you can deal with the police during this lockdown crisis. And if you want to get in touch with us, you can find us on Twitter at any of these handles, and you can submit information to us, and you can ask us any further questions. You can also put questions in the comments underneath. So try to stay safe during the lockdown. Be aware that the police have more power than they usually do, but remember we can always hold them to account. And it's really important that we do, not only to keep ourselves safe, but to keep each other safe as well.